Now this post that you see here was generated by an automation, an automation that has learned all about myself, about my YouTube channel, about my previous LinkedIn post. So this was generated and I sequenced it. So every day it came a new post is generated. So as a solo founder, you can, if you look at my site, I talk about how one of the key principles is about building brand authority. And as a solo founder, you need to be out there and writing content, and also or sharing your thoughts and leadership around your value proposition. Now, one thing I also would note, if I go back to that this post, is that when you share these insights, you also build your company's personal company brand. Okay, but more importantly, once you share these and it gets indexed, chatbots and your large language models look at these as a source for their knowledge. So Reddit, LinkedIn get cited in their knowledge. So you can reference your website or reference your value proposition. So the point here is that you can automate this, and I've just used, in this case, I've used Buffer here. You can use various other tools there, and it's free for a certain volume of usage. So enough for what you guys as a founder you're going to do. You're not going to overextend. So in this video, we're going to go and build this. So the key components, what you need is I've built it on Claude. You need a web link or webhook, and I use make. So basically it's simple. It's just a URL that I need to connect it to Buffer, and Buffer then is connected to my instance of my Buffer. You can do it Hootsuite. You can use all sorts of social media, but I like this is because it gives me a view of what's been sent. I got the calendar view. So anyway, you can use various sources. You can even create your own third-party app in LinkedIn and I get it approved and use that away. But in this way, I just used a simple approach where it's using Claude, linked by a webhook and Buffer for my distribution, and I connected all my socials. Okay, so let's dive into now and create. I'll show you how this all works. So I'm gonna simple. Every Monday I can hit this. It's paused at the moment because I wanted to show you this. I'm gonna hit run, and it's gonna generate ideas. Now let's see how this goes. I'm gonna view it here. There we go. Okay, so it's gonna process It's going to look at my context, right? It's going to look at my LinkedIn. It's going to look at all the working files. It's going to look at my brand voice. Now, this can be built by you, and I've got while this is churning, I'm going to say that this can be built by you. This is a sort of makeup of that, and you can download this GitHub, and you can install it and run it on your own instance of Claude. But you need a brand voice, which is basically how you write, and that can be generated and just prompting Claude. It uses your sources, your feeds, your YouTube. In my case, my YouTube, it could be your X if you wanted to, and you just find out in terms of weekly hot takes. This is basically I added that. It's just a new perspective. I want to add new insights. And next version you can do is it learns from when it looks at it takes all this in and schedules, comes up with ideas, sets a reminder, and you can approve, disapprove content blogs posts for you, right? And then it goes into queues it up in Make, creates a scenario. Make will look at it every 15 minutes and see, okay, I need to publish this, send it to Buffer to schedule and post. You can have this. This is available for you to generate. So let's go back to Claude and see what's happening there. Okay, so I'm going to allow this tool, its new instance. So I downloaded the files and I created go into Claude Cowork, use folders, update the folders, and now look, you see, it's looking at my voice. So it's going to prepare how I write. I'm going to say run for all. Okay, so it's going to continue to run these out. It's going to look at the allow. It's going to look at my files so to generate any other output it needs to generate. So this is going to go in and look. See, it's creating these files for me automatically, and these are all available for you as well. So you know, right? So I'm going to let this run a little bit as it builds through. So look, it's looking at my, so now, I remember I taught it to, as part of this markup file, is to go to my YouTube, go to my LinkedIn and source new ideas, I also reference some resources that I often read to get inspired when I prepare my blog post. Now, there we go. So it's looking at all my sources there. And this is following the instructions or that the agent is doing for me now. Now, it's important, like I said, building your personal brand is one thing. Contributing to conversations is another thing. When you produce this type of content, it gets cited more for AEO and SEO, so it gets cited in references. So again, this is a long-term play as much as a short-term play building your personal brand. Notice that. See, it's gone to LinkedIn. Now it's got all the stuff that it needs. Look, these are the sites that I've asked it to go reference also to learn about some of the latest topics around my domain being, GTM. Hey, look, Hunt Inch, his growth is great. Clay, recent news. I have asked it to go to these sites and look at it to prepare a nice series of blog posts for the rest of the week. And I'm going to hopefully look at them, approve them, edit them, and so forth, right? So it's now doing its research. This is an agent going out there every week will present for me new ideas. So I'm going to wait until it does its thing and does its research for come back and prepare some LinkedIn post ideas. Now remember, it can be for LinkedIn, it could be for X, it could be for you can go whatever channel that you consume is important. You can start with that, and you don't have to over-engineer. But as a solo founder, having a voice, a personal voice, a professional personal voice, building that. Remember, in initial years, it's mostly a founder-led outbound engagement. This is one of those outbound approaches. Anyway, it's going through all these channels here. You can see here, channels or contacts, and also the connectors that I made. Remember, I talked about web, make, and it doesn't have to worry about buffer because it's gonna use that in part of that webhook that make has. Okay, so now it's generating 5 ideas, and then what I've done this is I've done it as a widget, so it allows me to look at the idea, edit, approve, or decline the idea, and so that I can actually and this once approved, it will get scheduled, will make connections to Make, the automation tool, and then from Make it would then send it over to Buffer to be scheduled for those days I recommended. And in the setup instructions right here, right, it also talks about how to make it random a little bit. So during the 5 days, I want it certain times. Now, in the next version, you can do is it can actually, as part of the finding sources, right, it can say, okay, go back to the previous one, which it has because it learned from my previous LinkedIn post what's working, what's not working, so it can actually prepare content ideas that get high engagement. And if you go back here, you can see in one of the posts here, so I'm already getting, this is automated, generated. I'm getting people posting, commenting on my post. So I'm building, again, a personal brand, building that personal brand, and I can actually reference my site if I wanted to as a call to action. And that's part of the whole idea of building your personal brand, right, is building your expertise, your brand authority, which is important for my SEO and AEO, and then this would help with also building your domain authority. Okay, now let's go back to, it's now rendering the 5 ideas, as I said, as a widget. So let's see how this would pan out. Now, like I said, this is all available. You can download and you can customize it to X if you wanted to, or Instagrams, and whatever platform that you believe is most appropriate for your channel, for your audience that you cover. Okay, so here are the ideas. They're coming out. You can see here the widget. So here it's simple as you can actually skip it, so you can regenerate a new one. Or you can cancel completely, or you can edit and give some suggestions, okay? And so dollar press, this comes straight out of my LinkedIn, I had a YouTube video about this. So I'm gonna approve this because I think it's an awesome way to get certified. I'm gonna approve that one, okay, that's approved. Turn any one idea video into a multi, again, I love that because I do that myself, I'm experimenting, see, all this is real. This is not like, This is not made up in a sense. This is actually what I do, and it's referencing historical. I'm going to prove. Now, as for an example, I can say, I'm going to just, here, a 50, look, this is brilliant. It sourced one of my favorite sources, a GTM. I subscribed to that, so it's picked up that. So I can say for now, 50% on GTM team see no impact. That's a gap. I'm going to say skip, and you can see here it's going to be marked as skip. So I want to include it in the post. My schedule, 80-15 rule upgrade. Again, I talked about this. If you follow me, I talk about the 25-5 rule. 25% is sort of your demand, building your brand, just building this, like this sort of stuff, and then 5% is the demand gen. I'm going to prove that one as well. So let me just go boom, approve. You can see this is my agent. My agent has gone out and done research on the latest thinking about GTM and growth marketing, looked at my previous YouTube videos, looked at my previous posts, learned what's working well, and then coming back with some recommendations. AI replacing, again, this is something I talked about in one of my videos, but you see here, it's referencing and a source that I actually used, and I've actually recorded videos about AI and SDRs, being replaced. So I'm gonna approve this one as well. So now you can see here, there's some instructions, and you will see this as well. Approved, get scheduled. You can edit. I can go back and edit that if I wanted to. Well, edit just basically would say something like, hey, can you change it to X, Y, Z? And then we'll give you ideas. Okay, so I'm going to say submit the decisions. Okay, so these are all ones that have been approved. Skip, and let's see. Okay, so now it's made. Here's my decision. This is what I approved. It's a summarized confirmation of what's going to be scheduled, and hopefully these will be then scheduled in Buffer. So it's going to go through its thing. Again, it's following these instructions, and you can imagine how this could be done in a scale, right? So as founders, especially solo founders, you don't have a lot of time in your hands. So having the ability for you to continue to have dialogue with that community that you're nurturing, it's going to be important. Okay, so it's got skipped one, generating a replacement. Okay, again, it's a part of the instructions. I wanted it's 5 ideas across the week so once per week. So it's going to generate a new idea for me, so I can actually look at that and see what happens. So it's going to good times generated now 5 posts and push them to the data source. So it's pushed them. So let's see what's going to happen. It's still thinking it through, looking at the tooling to start scheduling it through. Okay, so you see there, it's actually gone in. Now it's going to, I'm going to request go access. It's going to make to start posting those ideas or pushing those ideas through the webhook. So let me go back here so you can know what I mean. This simple webhook, it's going to push that over there so it can actually be scheduled in Buffer here. So that's the process. This is all in the GitHub repositories that you can actually access yourself and start experimenting. As a solo founder, you need to have the ability to have agents like this one to enable you to get your message across in those communities that matter to you. So all the 5, and I don't know what the 5 is because I approved one, I generated another one. Now waiting 60 seconds for make to make the scenario. So it's going to process the scenario. Make has scenarios, basically a workflow or automation workflow. So it's sending it out to make and post that out or instruct Buffer to schedule. You can see here all have been scheduled, updated. There's a schedule post for the snapshot weekly. So that's going to be now reading that. So it's following those. These are the instructions that are available for you as well. So it's a systematic approach to create that post for you. It's now writing the weekly MD file to make sure for the next round of new ideas it covers. You can see here what this is what it's a result of that. So it's scheduling the week's content for me and learning from that as well. So save to render the calendar. So that's a widget that's been sent over as well So hopefully we should see that in May, come the post being scheduled there. So here we go. So this is a summary of what's going to be scheduled, what time, and as I said, I have different random times. I specifically said that, so it feels more human, if that makes sense, okay? So these are all queued on Monday to bed. Yeah, that's right, because, you know, that's the best time. All done. We're fixing the manual, keeping an eye. Yep, okay, there's my snapshot report. There's the rest of them. MD file for me, so it's all done. All the posts are done. So here we go, and they're all, you know, it's moved into buffer and see, they're all scheduled. So you can see at 9:09, I made them like that, so they're kind of like random, but like more, like I said, human. So I can publish them now if I wanted to, but these are all scheduled. So there you go. Get out there, download the GitHub repository and play around yourself. If you're a solo founder and you're short on time and you want to sort of set up these agents to help you post and schedule, and you know, in the future you can actually get them, because the way this is set up is that we'll learn from your previous one and improve on those posts. But I specifically, in my post, I said that in my instructions to look at certain sources, so you can actually in your domain think about what kind of sources that you want to sort of extract, learn from, and then prepare those posts. So go out there. These are posted, so you can see them on my LinkedIn if you're not following me, and have fun. I guess that's all from me. Until the next video, if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and yeah,